So guys, today we're going to have a look at Force on Force, and Darrell's been reading it for us
to
give us an overview. So Darrell, this is Modern Warfare.
Yep, and it's good Modern Warfare.
Good Modern Warfare.
I like it.
So what sort of dates are we talking about? From 60s onwards, say?
Yeah, it's basically Modern Warfare, post-World War II, you know, not going our 10 years past World War II.
So I would imagine if you're in the US, that's like Korean War onwards.
Yeah, Korean Wars, Vietnam, although Vietnam does my head in. I'd rather do anything bar Vietnam. But yeah, it's, for me, it is totally now warfare. It is totally. Yeah, it has to be Iraq and Afghanistan and them places. You know, it may not be PC, but it is for me. That's where I see it all being. That's modern. For me, it's where you see the modern Marine, not the World War II Marine. The modern Marine with modern automatic is like a M16 type weapon. Yeah,
everyone's weapon's automatic and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
It's not your bolt action.
Yeah, there's no more bolt action. Yeah. You know, it's tell you, it's AK-47 from then onwards. Yeah. It's every farmer can have an automatic weapon. Yeah, it is. You know, and you do get farmers with automatic weapons.
So Force on Force, we're talking about from the AK-47 onwards.
Yes, that's it. That's perfect. You know.
Yeah. So the system then, based on D6s by the looks of things.
Yep. No, not only D6s. You get your average troop has qualities from your farmer with a machine gun, whose rolls are based on D6s and everything passes on a 4+ pretty much, to your SAS Delta Force type guy who gets a D12.
All right, so
it's based on
bigger dice for better guys.
Bigger dice for better guys. If you fail some of your dice rolls, you get your randomness cards that we'll probably get onto at some stage. Yeah. That random things happen, which from predictable competitive war gamers, me and Andy don't like random things happening.
Random things don't work. But then again, I mean, it looks like the random stuff's optional. But again, we'll get onto that later on in our review.
But yes, the basic game is a skirmish, modern warfare. That everything's based on your dice. It's got all the usual things like if you get shot, some of the forces have medics, other forces leave you to die. Basically, you have troop qualities. From basically farmer with a gun to SAS to like regular trained soldier to like a Royal Marine type guy who's not quite elite, SAS, but he's an elite Marine. Like I think it's the US Rangers would be the equivalent of it. Is an elite Marine. You don't really have access to
I'm looking here. There's insurgency forces, so I would imagine they're the sort of more paramilitary type forces, and then you've got the regular army, and then some more elite type stuff. You've also got vehicles then, and
you have vehicles. You go from basically all your modern vehicles right the way up to your heavy, like Abraham's tank type things, down to your light soft skin vehicle. Your soft skin.
There's quite a few pages of vehicles.
Again, all these vehicles have various different weapons and various different armors, and it's all based on a number of dice. Anything from a D6 to a D12, and the number of them you get. Vehicle armors based like that. Even buildings and whatnot and fortified areas are based on a certain number of dice, making up what you are. You have all of the ground vehicles you would expect. For me, I looked at it more as an infantry skirmish type game. You know, I think it's hard with all these games to find a balance from one guy rocking up with a huge tank, another guy rocking up with one of guys with light
with AK-47s.
I know if you're the guy in the tank, you're quite happy, but from gaming point of view, it's not much fun for the other guy. If my tank is driving through that building you're in at this point.
Don't need to shoot anymore, just run you down.
Exactly. Running the opposition down is quite effective.
That's it. You don't get tried for war crimes after this game, so it'll be fine.
No. Just run them down and... hang on, I've accidentally got reversed there.
That's it, desperate. So I see that the scenarios and things that are already done out. Oh, I just went past it. There's helicopter gunships and stuff as well. That's all pretty cool.
Again, if you have an AK-47 and a helicopter gunship, it's all based. It's where it gets me totally modern war.
Yeah.
Because you have that closer interaction between armored fighting vehicles and the guy on foot that you wouldn't have had in the Second World War so much, where it was sort of, I'm in a tank and you're in the foot, so go away, leave me alone, sort of thing. But you have all your vehicles you would expect, and then will we get on to our old fog of war?
Well, we'll do that in a second. See, the scenario was already worked out. Fortunately enough, I mean, we'll say first about what we liked about the game. I mean, I haven't read it fully, but it's a good looking game. It's got plenty of different sort of nations and different vehicles. There's a big list of vehicles and stuff like that. There's also a handy glossary of military terms, because there's a lot of them are peppered around the book. So if you're baffled in any way by acronyms and things, you might want to read the glossary first before you do any of this.
There is some of them. I find this with heavy gear as well. There is some of them, but they're pretty straightforward. If once you actually check what it is, and you realise, that is what it should be. The other thing we should have covered, I suppose, at the start is what you play this with.
Oh, right.
What you play it on. At the start of the book, there is no set models like GW or somebody where you have to go out and buy our models for this, and there's no set scale for it either. So you can play this from 15mm scale. I would say it's 15mm as small as I would go, up to, for me, the 28, 30mm scale. Exactly. They list you a whole pile of different companies at the start of it, no doubt.
Well, I suppose Airfix has a lot of 20mm models as well that you can get really quite cheaply, and I think it's 176, 172, something like that. Scale vehicles probably fit to that as well.
There's a lot of them out there. I got a nice little, is it 176 scale little tank off EM4, or not EM4, North Star Miniatures, a while back. There is a lot of different companies, and the thing here is there's no, you buy these tanks or buy those tanks or buy whatever. You can go and buy your models. They list at the very start a few of the companies that that do that sort of thing. Yeah, that is. I mean, if you can check out at the front, there's loads of different model manufacturers and stuff. And of course, just check our website. We've got plenty of them as well. So if you already have terrain, you're not stuck with going, I need new terrain and new models. You could proxy some of your existing models to play this with until you get them. And there is some really cool looking, like modern marine and modern sort of, even modern rioters. I like guys with chairs and things, wouldn't exactly suit this because there's no rules in it for chucking a chair at somebody else, but there is a lot of them, modern models you get that I think look really well.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get on to your bugbear, the Fog of War cards.
Fog of War cards, these turn up randomly. I believe it's when you roll a 1. These turn up randomly, and they're mad. They're mad. They are.
It's random stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Was it what this wall's made of Swiss cheese? A position that seemed to offer decent cover turns out to be a bad spot due to poor construction. And basically, you designate a piece of terrain that's no longer solid cover.
Yeah. So there's that. There's your airstrike happens to land on your own head. Yeah. There's can't have any more airstrikes. Can't have any more artillery. But for me, just looking at them now, I haven't went through them sharply to work them all out throughout the game. It seems to be worse for the guy with airstrikes and things like that there than it is for the guy who just turns up with an AK who goes.
The more complicated your army, the worse this is for you.
Yeah, some of them, if you don't have airstrikes and you don't have artillery.
A good example, I suppose, would be if you are an insurgent force all armed with AK-47s who are poorly supplied, drawing the card ammunition condition black. A supply snafu or prolonged fighting has left your unit's ammo low. Your force is now considered to be poorly supplied. Oh well, I am already poorly supplied. That'll be fine.
Exactly. There is disadvantages in taking lots of poor guys as well, but having lots of guys that need lots of support.
Yeah, it's one of these things again. Whenever we see a new game, one of the things we always have to look at is, what happens if I just take lots and lots of the cheapest possible things that I can get? Does that work out in any way good? And in most cases, you find that it's reasonably bad if you get bad rules, but the chances of getting bad rules compared to the chances of good rules as well are usually balance each other out.
you can have lots of what I call Mr. Wound.
Yeah,
You know?
that's it.
You can have lots
wounds.
of
Yeah.
unnamed guys dying rapidly.
That's it.
You know, it's and then you take lots of bad shooting back, but you've got lots of it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I might only hit on 5s compared to everybody else, but I shoot twice as much.
Yes.
And you know,
Exactly.
the chances are that I'm going to get more.
you could have used your fog of war cards, or you could ignore your fog of war cards.
I think they're optional, but again, I mean, they're optional. I would say that it's one of those things that it adds flavour to your force on force game anyway, if nothing else. But you know, if you were playing in a tournament or something like that, I don't know if there's tournaments for force on force. I would imagine there are, but I would say that maybe. The chance of a game being badly swayed in one direction or another due to the draw of one card is something that's a bit. I'm not saying that it's bad by any means, but it's a bit foreign to anybody who's a bit more competitive whenever they're playing.
It's not predictable. I'm sure Andy will agree from War Machine tournaments and whatnot. Nobody takes anything that's random. Up the top of my head, nobody takes anything at random. Unless it goes randomly, you're dead, you explode. You know.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You know, you don't want anything catching you unawares whenever you're playing at a more competitive level. I'm not saying this isn't competitive. It is, but putting cards in like that and random stuff, I don't know. It's one of those things. If we were sitting here one night and we had a few beers and we were playing a game, it'd be brilliant. You would be drawing them every round. Never mind rolling ones.
And you would want all the vicious cards at the top. You would. You want all the vicious cards.
But again, it adds a nice bit of flavour to your force on force game. So, Darrell, what do you think? Was it good?
I think it's a good book, good game. It is.
Yeah, I mean, I've only had a quick flick through it. I had to have a look at the Fog of War cards whenever you were talking about them, and it seems to be a nice game. Solid rules as well.
It's well set out. It's a nice little book as well. It's all nice, glossy book, and it's straightforward to read and get into, guys.
Yep. So there you go, Force on Force. If you fancy some Modern Warfare, maybe this is the game for you. If you play it already, of course, drop some comments below and tell us all about it. Other than that, we'll get on, we'll review some more games for you.